Hey,
What's going on?
we were just talking about you.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
How's everyone doing?
All
Doing
right,
well. How are
Josh
you
doing
doing,
well.
what's
man?
going on? Thanks for sticking around, even though we had that little hiccup there.
Oh, all good, all good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yes. We got a special treat tonight. He was in Superman and Lois. He was in The Boys, and in my opinion, a breakout role of Jeffrey in the Tubi original that came out last month, Lowlifes. Mr. Josh Zaharia.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So how'd you get your start, man?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I've always loved movies and especially making films. Like I used to, like back in the day when I was younger, I would have these action figures and I would make my own little short films with my action figures, my toys, and I just always, I don't know, I've always connected with movies. I loved watching them, especially the behind the scenes, going on YouTube, learning about the behind the scenes, all that stuff. And so
Absolutely.
eventually one day, my parents, they were like, why don't you give it a try? Start it off with commercials, see what happens. And that's exactly what I did. And then eventually that led into film and TV. And I mean, I love it, and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. It was, it's just so much fun.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I played with wrestling figures when I was a kid, and I definitely,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't transfer into becoming a professional wrestler. So
Hey, I mean, you can always
You're
follow
right.
your dream. You can still make it. Why not?
So, Josh, are you a horror fan?
You know what? I'm not the biggest horror fan in the world, but I do love there's a few horror movies that I like. I've never really delved deep. I don't like the idea of getting scared, but there are good horror movies. Like for example, The Black Phone that I watched a few years ago. I
Yes.
went in with zero expectations and then with a few friends, and then it was just a blast. I mean, I wouldn't say horror is my genre that I specifically gravitate towards, but when there's a good horror movie, there's a great horror movie, and I love a really good horror movie. Absolutely. Yeah.
What'd you think when you were handed this script to Lowlifes?
You know what? I think it was interesting because the script, Low Lifes is so different from any other horror movie in that it subverts your expectations. You kind of think one thing is going on, and then it has all these twists and turns. And it was exciting for me, just reading the script to be able to see all those twists come in, and how every character comes into play, and how they subvert the expectations of the horror genre in really cool and creative ways. And so I think once I finished reading the script, I went up to my parents and I was like, this is something special. And I think that's something, even aside from the script, like when we were filming, we knew we were making something special, something different, something people weren't used to seeing. And so we were all excited to make Low Lives and to bring it to the big screen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
What did your parents feel about you playing psychotic cannibal?
Yeah, yeah, they were surprised, and I think what they told me was, this is an exciting role. There's a lot of things you get to do with this part, and if this is going to help you reach that new level as an actor, then absolutely go for it. Because Jeffrey, he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does.
yeah, there's a lot of yeah, there's a lot of range in that sort of what he has to do in the story. And so I think when especially they were interested in how those scenes were going to be filmed specifically, with all the gore and the blood and all that stuff. But I think what calmed them down actually was when I worked on The Boys, because The Boys is also an extremely violent show. And
Yeah,
so
very
the
much.
way things were handled on set there, I think they were very reassured with that experience that things would be similar with Low Lifes. And so I think those past experiences on The Boys absolutely helped with the Low Lifes experience, being on set with Low Lifes. And my dad was on set with me for most of the days, and he got to see a lot of the gore, and he thought it was really cool, but he's very squeamish sometimes. Both of my parents are squeamish. I'm squeamish. So seeing the blood and the gore and the body parts and all that stuff on set,
The
it
thumb.
was really cool. Yeah, no, it was really cool to see. but also just very disgusting as well, you know. But the prosthetics were amazing. It was super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the effects are really good. Josh, when we're done with this interview here, can we play the adjective game?
Oh no! Oh my God! You know what?
Come on, you're at a safe
Why not?
distance, so you know you're.
Let's play the adjective
No,
game.
exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I'm always down for the adjective game, but that was such an interesting component, and I thought it was cool that they bring it back in a few parts of the movie. They keep referencing it. It's like a cool little thing that Jeffrey does. Yeah, sure. Let's play the adjective game, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, it absolutely added to the whole effect of this is just your basic nerdy family.
Right. No,
And
that
again,
was,
it kind of
yeah.
subverted that little extra there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, and that was such a cool thing too. I think everybody, especially part from the Manning family, our road tripping family, I think everybody was very excited to play those two parts to their characters, you know. They're sort of upper class, tidy, sort of, you know, innocent version of themselves, and then also the psychotic killer cannibal versions as well. So I think we were all very excited about doing that sort of duality. Just as actors, we all thought it was super interesting.
Yeah, there was that split second right before with Billy there. And it's like, all
Hmm.
right, is he just going in the other wait a second? And then
Yeah.
so yeah,
No,
that
for
was
us it was crucial. It was crucial to make that twist work, you
mm,
know, because we knew that that was where everything was going to change, and we kind of it was interesting. We filmed it almost in a linear sense.
okay.
We filmed all the RG stuff and everything at the very beginning of filming, and then we finished off with the house and all the craziness that happens in that house, and so. Yeah, it was really interesting. We knew that it was going to be super important to do that part justice. And I mean, I think everybody crushed it. What I always found super funny and super interesting as well is how when Jeffrey or when I'm killing Billy, it's like the rest of the family is so nonchalant about it. You know, it gives us a hint of how they've done this before.
Yeah, it's just
You
a
know, yeah.
Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, no, totally. Just a regular Wednesday. And my parents, when they were watching that scene, my dad, he was just my parents, they could barely even look at the screen, you know. I could barely look at the screen. For me, I'm so squeamish, like I can't look at blood. So there's so much blood in Low Lives. So
were your
yeah.
parents playing the he's your son playing that game, pushing the
Yeah.
blame on one
You know,
another? I didn't give him
it
that
it was
side.
I didn't do that. Yeah, I didn't raise him that way. No, I think my dad took all of the gory, like he was on set with me for all of the gory, violent stuff because my mom is like, I just can't look at the prosthetics. I can't do that. Um, and then my mom was there for kind of the lighter days, you know, just the scenes where we're, cooking, we're just having a barbecue and stuff like that. My mom was there for those days, and then my dad was there for all the gore and the fighting and all that stuff, right? And so I think my parents, they got to see two very different sides of the movie, and yeah, it was just a really exciting experience for my parents too. I mean, I think they always like to come to set and see all these different characters that I can play, and they love being on set for every single project that I do. Because every project is different, and every project we learn something new, and everything it's super exciting, and we work with great people. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, they nailed it. So
Thank you. Yeah.
And Josh, you in the beginning of the movie, you know, we were introduced to your character.
Yeah.
You're the excited teenager. You know, you're getting into cannibalism. You know, it's like you're still
Right.
learning from dad, and dad's trying to teach you,
Yeah.
and mom, and it's like calm down. You know, you shouldn't eat that raw. You know, you're not immune to the system.
Sure.
And throughout the whole, throughout the movie, it's just like you're excited. You just start doing your own thing, and your dad's like, oh, I got to go make sure you got to calm him down and everything. So for me watching that's cool. That's the excited young kid, just going off, and that's what teenagers do. They do whatever they want. They want to try and do their own thing.
yeah, this is dad's thing, but
Yeah.
Jeffrey is ready to
He-
carry the torch
Dad
already.
told him stay away from Big Mac, and he went after Big
Yeah.
Mac anyway.
That's true. I didn't follow the directions. Yeah, no, I think because Jeffrey, the whole movie, he wants to kind of gain his dad's approval.
Yeah.
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 But he's so reckless. He's just not there yet. He's not as meticulous and as well planned as Keith is. Um, and so he keeps making mistakes throughout the whole film that lead to some serious consequences for literally everybody involved. So yeah.
I got two children and I got one of them.
Oh.
That's the same way. Let me go make sure that, my one daughter, I got to go check on her so she didn't get out of hand and go calm down. So,
And the other one kind of plays by the rules a
yeah,
little bit.
right. The other one plays by the rules. Exactly. So,
What was in the chocolate? What was
The
going on with the chocolate bars?
It's I mean, that was just the sneaky way that the family weakens their victims. And so it was cool. I mean, we had the Bim Bams, the prop chocolates that I was holding a bag throughout most of the scenes. I mean, I'm holding a bag of chocolates, and I was always carrying around those props in my pocket. They just kind of lived there. And so yeah, I thought it was interesting because it just shows more of that world of it gives us more, like, without saying too much. I mean, it just shows us that this family's been doing
Yeah.
this for so long. And obviously
your
the
crap.
youngest member of the family, right? The youngest member of the family, Jeffrey, he's going to be the one holding the chocolates, because why would you say no to a kid, right?
Yeah.
The
What
chocolates.
could
And
he
so,
possibly do?
yeah, what could he possibly do? He's just an innocent kid, right? And so I think it just makes so much sense, and it makes the script so much more clever because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Just
wasn't
those-
until the second watching that I realized, like, yeah, the first half of the movie, you got him. Like
Yeah.
the
No,
first time it was
exactly.
just like, oh, he's offering chocolate. The second time it was like, yeah, he's just ready to distribute at any moment.
Yeah, no, because it's just, what's so interesting about Lowlifes is you rewatch it and there's all these new details that you pick up,
Yep.
these little things, right? And it's super interesting, and giving it a rewatch is one of those things that makes that movie so special. It has that rewatchability factor.
The director should have had like a golden ticket in the chocolate bar, right?
That was a
little nod to Willy Wonka.
Oh man, I should have talked to Mitch and Tesh to see if they wanted to add that. That would have been so good. Yeah.
what was it like working with the rest of the cast? Were they new to this genre as well, and being cannibals and being grossed out? I mean, do you have anything
Yeah, I mean, everybody was great. Everybody was amazing. There were some of us who already worked on other horror movies, such as Elise, who played the mom. She's already been in horror films such as Ready or Not, for example. So she had some experience in the horror genre. Richard Harmon as well, with Paranormal Activity. And so you just have people who know the horror space. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I mean, one of those standouts that somebody I really liked to watch act was Matthew McCall, who plays Keith. He did an amazing job, and I get a lot of scenes with him. Like we talked before, Jeffrey wants that validation
Mhm.
from his father, and it was really crucial for both of us to sort of play that father-son dynamic. And so I think I mean, everybody crushed it. I mean, even the Hillbilly family, for example, everybody was working on their accents and everything. And some people, like Brenna, who plays Savannah, she stayed in her accent throughout the whole shoot. Or I think Cassandra as well, who plays Julianne, they stayed in their accents the entire time. And it was, I mean, everybody was such a joy to be around, and everybody was so much fun. And even though sometimes the filming was very grueling, I mean, we would be filming at like 2 a.m., so, because for those night scenes, and it was, sometimes we were all tired, and we were all, I mean, especially with the stunts and the gore and this and that, we were tired, but at the end we all persevered through because we knew we were making something special. One story that I always remember is the Big Mac fight scene with the Daily. We were out there super late. I mean, I think it was freezing cold, and we had to do this big fight scene, and what time was it? Like 1:30 a.m. We were all tired from a really long day of shooting. and especially for Daly, I really feel for him because he had all this prosthetic blood on him, right? And so
Mhm.
he was freezing cold. And we just persevered through, and we had a great stunt team. And so I think all of us, we really built each other up, and we worked as a team to be able to make the movie and get through it.
It does seem like the kind of movie where everybody was having a blast behind the scenes
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. We were all having so much fun.
Do you have any funny story like where a blooper happened or a prop, didn't perform as well as it should have?
Yeah, there was this recurring joke we had on set. So our editor of the movie, Jason Hamill, he was editing the film while we were filming. So we were sending everything in, and so uh, Jason was good friends with the directors, and so they told us that for some takes, if we could just do a little like these little blooper takes where we would in the middle of the scene, we would break character, just turn to the camera and just yell, fuck you, Jason Hamill. Right. So we would keep doing that. And that happened throughout the entire duration of the shoot, in the middle of a kill. And then we turn around and look at the camera. It's like, fuck you, Jason Hamill. So, and every time we'd find all these creative ways to add that into a scene. And so that was one of those really funny things. And again, it was just so funny to like, we would always find these really creative ways to input it. And I don't know how many fuck you, Jason Hamill bloopers I've seen. I've seen so many. There's a whole collection of them somewhere.
Well, is this
Yeah.
ever going to get like a physical release on Blu-ray?
I wish. Hopefully.
Yeah, if they decide
That
to
would
do that, that would be a
I
wonderful
think they should do it.
addition.
I think it's time to pitch it. We should do it. We should talk to Tubi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I visit the subreddit, the horror subreddit all the time, and it's
Mhm.
at least maybe 2, 3, 4 times a day where I see someone bringing up Lowlifes, and I
That's
visit
amazing.
that all the time. And even like the big budget horror movies that get in theaters, I never see a movie talked about this much in such a short
Mhm.
period of time. Like, hopefully the word of mouth spreads so many
Yeah.
more people can see this movie because it really is one of the best ones so far of 2024.
Oh wow, no, that means a lot. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else in the production appreciates it too, because we put a lot of hard work into it, and so we're just excited that people got to see it, let alone that they love it so much. And it has, I mean, I also went online. I've seen such an amazing reaction towards it, and so I think that it just feels good to know that we put so much hard work into it, and that horror fans love it just as much as we do.
And I think for the horror fans out there, this is different. Sometimes everything is always the same.
And it is a pretty basic, story or plot.
Mhm.
It's just so many twists put in it to make it just original enough.
It goes against the horror
Absolutely.
trope, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you would think one thing and then it becomes another.
Exactly.
Savannah was badass. I mean, she would have been a fantastic. I don't want to spoil anything. She would have been a fantastic final girl, but
Yeah.
she was almost like Katniss Everdeen in the
That's
Hunger
what I
Games
thought.
with that bow.
With the arrow and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the bow and arrow. That's what I
What
thought.
are you saying?
Yeah.
All archers are the same?
I got a little Hunger Games vibe when I was watching her.
And that was another thing from the rewatch. The first time it was like, it sucks that he had to go out so I almost wanted to say easily. And then the second time around, I'm like, no, she fucked him up pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, she just choked him out, but then it never fully sank in. Like, you got your hand scorched, you got the boiling water to the face,
Hmm.
and then you got choked out.
Exactly.
But
No,
yeah,
I
it
think
was-
that scene was so much. That scene was one of my favorite scenes to film, 100%. Because it was my own. I think it's the only time in the film where I actually get prosthetics on, the burnt face,
Mhm.
and the choreography. I mean, we practiced it a bunch of times, and so that was one of those super super fun scenes to shoot. And by the end of it, I mean, me and Brenna were just exhausted, right? Because we did it over and over and over again. And it is such a short scene, right? And it's
Yeah.
intercut. It's intercut with Matt and Richard's fight scene.
Mhm.
Like another fight scene going on with our fight scene. So it is a really short scene, but it was really grueling to shoot, but it was so much fun. And I really liked the end product of it too. It was so stressful. When I even though I know what happens, I was watching the movie on the edge of my seat with the editing and everything. I was really stressed out, So yeah, that
Yeah.
was a super super fun scene.
Now, was there I guess like a preview? Like, was there like a cast and crew sat down and watched the movie before it was released, or is this something that
Um,
everybody saw after it was officially released?
Unfortunately, there wasn't like a cast viewing where we all got to sit down and watch it together. That would have been really nice. Yeah, yeah,
So watching the
exactly.
final edit, it wasn't until it came out on Tubi.
Yes, yeah. So we didn't really get to see it until, I mean, we saw bits and pieces when we were filming, sometimes they would show us a little bit of the footage that they were editing, and that was really exciting. And then we did a bunch of ADR,
Mm,
in which is I'm sorry, do you guys know what ADR is?
mhm.
It's like when a line isn't recorded, like the audio
Like
isn't too well on that line
Correcting
on the day.
dialogue and
So you go back. Exactly, yeah. So you go back, you re-record. So in the ADR sessions, we saw a little bit of what was going on, what was being made, and so. But I know at least I didn't really get to see, and I think nobody else did. But we didn't really get to see that final product until it landed on Tubi, and we watched it just like everybody else.
Josh, I know you just turned 18, so happy birthday.
Yeah.
uh
Thank you.
how I think it's when you look at your resume, you did,
Yeah.
Superman and Lois, you had a part in that, A Million Little
Mhm.
Things, The Boys, and even Resident Alien. These are 4 big network shows, you know? How awesome is that? I mean, at your age to get that under your belt, I mean, what's it like? I mean, it's just to have that, you're so diverse in your roles that I think it's pretty awesome at your age at 18. What's it like?
Thank you. It's really awesome. Yeah, it is really awesome, and I'm just so humbled that I get to be a part of all these amazing projects. And I'm a huge superhero fan, for example. So being part of TV shows like Superman and Lois, The Boys, those are dreams. That's really a dream come true. And I mean, it is really awesome. And I'm so every time I go to these to go on set, I'm so excited to tell these stories, right? And um I mean, every time I look back at it, I'm just thinking like, wow, this is so exciting, and this is what I love to do. And yeah, it is. I mean, I think you just said the word. It's awesome. It's really awesome, and uh, I mean, there's really no word to really express it. It's amazing and it's exciting, and I just can't wait to keep working on stuff.
Is there anything upcoming that you're working on or going to be start working on that we could look forward to seeing?
There is, yeah. I mean, so June, I have there's a TV show coming out. I think it's the second season of Billy the Kid on Paramount MGM Plus. And so I'm playing a recurring character on that. It's a Western. So that's a completely different genre to the horror genre. But that's something very exciting as well as an actor. You get to play all these different roles. And so um now it's time to tackle a Western, and so there's the Western, and then in December, I have a Christmas movie coming out, right? So which is gonna
Okay.
be very
Is
exciting.
it
And so
Terrifier 3?
absolutely, you know what? That would be sick. The Terrifier franchise is very cool. And so it's again completely different. And one of the funny things is I worked on this Christmas movie, Bring Back Christmas. It's like a lighthearted like Christmas comedy movie, like a family film.
Okay.
Um, then the guy who did the makeup on that film, Andy, he worked on the prosthetics for Lowlifes. And so we met again on set for Lowlifes for a completely different type of project, completely different type of job and role. So for me, I'm going from like, this family friendly movie to this psychotic cannibal killer,
Mm.
right? And then, he's doing all this like this again, it's just a very family friendly project, so all this gore and this blood and all this, and so that was really funny when I saw him on set. I was like, there's no way, that's so
And
cool, right? And so there's that, and then there's one more that I still can't talk about, unfortunately, but I just finished filming it, and so I'm excited to announce it when I can, but yeah.
The Christmas movie, is that something that's going on streaming or is it getting a theatrical release?
I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll find out. It's an indie film, somewhat like Lowlifes. Well, I mean, it's not
Well,
really
not
like
like.
Lowlifes is they're two polar opposites, right? But it's an indie film, and I mean, like I said, it's completely different. Like, and so that's exciting, but for a completely different audience. You know what I mean? Um, that's those are the things that I'm currently working on and that are in the near future. Yeah.
Josh, I got a two-part question for you. What would be your dream role, right? What
Yeah.
would be your dream role, and what actor or actress you would absolutely love to work with?
That's a great question. That's a great, yeah, two-punch question. I think for me, one of my dream roles is to be a okay, so there's two things. So the first one is I really I've always wanted to tackle like a fantasy sort of project, something I don't know, because I haven't done that yet, and so it's one of those itches that I'm just meaning to scratch, right? And so, uh, something sort of fantasy, something. I was a fan of the Percy Jackson books when I was younger, so something very similar to Percy Jackson in that sort of way. And or for example, and then another type of project is, I mean, I just like I said, I love superheroes. I want to keep working on superhero projects. Being part of Marvel and DC is one of those things that that would be really exciting for me and that I would love to be a part of. And then in terms of actors, I mean, there's just so many. There's so many I'd love to work with. I mean, I think like for example, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of those that I'd love to work with. Joaquin Phoenix, um, Ryan Reynolds, The Rock. There's so many. I could go on and on about people I would want to work with, because there's just so many people.
So you're saying the
Um,
secret project is Deadpool 4, right?
That's
oh yeah, totally. No, for sure, for sure. I'm very excited for Deadpool 3, by the
You
way.
get
I saw the
Marvel
trailer.
and Ryan Reynolds in one shot.
There you go. There you go. 2 in 1. Kill two birds in one stone.
I was a little nervous that it was Disney at first with Deadpool, but
Yeah.
I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, I think we're good. As soon
Yeah.
as Deadpool came out, he started, spewing his jokes. I was like, we're good.
I know
Yeah,
we're good.
we're okay. Yeah, and then Hugh Jackman's return, like, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you could plug all your social medias and
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Plug away.
yeah. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. For now, it's just Instagram. It's at Josh _Zaharia. Zaharia, I get some people can't really spell it. It's Zaharia. And so yeah, that's where you can follow me, see what I'm up to, and see what's next.
Josh, you a Cobra Kai fan?
Oh, I love Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I love Cobra Kai. Yeah, I'm so excited for the next season, and I know I'm friends with the kid who plays Kenny, Dallas Dupree Young. We worked on a movie called The Main Event together, and so that's such an exciting opportunity for him, and so and that is such an awesome show.
Oh.
That is it's just badass. That show is badass. I love Cobra Kai. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah.
What do you
of
think
course.
about them dropping the 3 parts, like the
Yeah,
last season of 3 parts?
You know what? I'm excited. I remember when they did that with Stranger Things, where they dropped the 2-parter,
Yeah.
and at first I wasn't a fan of it because I binged the first part of Stranger Things, and then I had to wait a whole month to watch the next part. But I don't know. I feel like it keeps the show. It makes it kind of stay relevant for longer. For a
They
longer
keep you wanting.
it keeps you wanting more, and I think that's why, for example, shows like The Boys work so well with its weekly release. And so yeah, I mean, I love Cobra Kai, and I am excited that they're doing 3 parts. And what is it, 16, 17 episodes? There's a lot of episodes. Yeah, are you guys Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do?
Oh yeah.
Love Cobra Kai.
all of them.
I'm the outcast.
Yeah. Love. I mean, I grew up watching, The
Right.
Karate Kid, right? I mean,
Right.
it's amazing to me how it just lived for so long, and so many different generations of kids
Absolutely.
are kind of just, seeing it and then going back and watching the original, right, and connecting all the dots. It's just cool. It's great that they can continue that story. So.
And they're making that new movie, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Macho and Jackie Chan. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. They're making the new one. No, yeah, I love Cobra Kai. Oh my God, you read my mind.
I always joke. We went to a horror convention and we got to meet Ralph Macchio, and
Yeah.
left there and I got COVID. I always joke that Ralph Macchio gave me COVID.
No, Ralph. Oh my God, how could he?
So, Josh, you live in Canada?
I do. Yeah, Vancouver, BC.
Okay. What does a 18-year-old do for fun in Vancouver?
It depends, because honestly, Vancouver's weather's horrible. So, it's usually just very rainy and gray most of the days. And so those are the days where you go to the movie theater and but then during the summertime, so we're getting closer. So now it's so sunny. It's just the weather's beautiful. And so there's a bunch of different places, right? You go to the beach, we have an amusement park, which is great, called Playland, PNE. And so that's a really fun place to go. There's a lot of things to do. If you have kids who are like around the age of, say, 6 or 7, Science World is the place to go. I just became a tour guide right now. I'm just explaining all the different
Yeah.
places. Yeah. But yeah, those are definitely those are the spots. I think those are the spots. 100%.
You can always jump in an RV and go camping, Josh.
Yeah. Just
When all else fails.
Just pack the family up.
Yeah, just go for a little barbecue doesn't hurt anybody.
Are you into sports?
I box. Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
Yeah, boxing. And so I try to go as much as possible. Like to the boxing gym, I try to go daily. And I just love the sport. I love doing the sport. I love boxing, and then I also love watching it too. And so, yeah, boxing 100%. I used to be into basketball a lot, though. I used to be part of my school's team, and I fractured 7 fingers during my time playing basketball. I fractured my finger 7 times because I was in defense. So I would always reach for the ball, and the ball would just like hit my finger, and then it would just So all that built up damage, but we're good now. So
You
yeah.
have all that nerve damage, so now boxing, you don't feel a thing.
No, exactly. I don't feel the thing now. Exactly. Yeah. The basketball helped out with the boxing. Totally.
So
But
I'm sure a Rocky fan, right? Creed, the Rocky movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Oh yeah. I love the Creed movies, especially.
Done a nice job with the Creed movies.
They did great with the
Yeah.
Creed movies. I think my favorite one out of the 3 is probably the first one. What about you guys?
See, I like 2. I like the fact that they brought
Okay.
back, Ivan Drago's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. But again, the first one kind of introducing where Rocky
Exactly.
gets to learn that that's Apollo Creed's son, and he's going by another name, right? Because he doesn't want to carry that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
but they did a great job with that.
Yeah, and I kind of liked the third one. Was kind of different because even the fight, like the final fight, like with the the final fight, it was almost. I saw an interview where Michael B. Jordan said that he wanted to do it more anime style. I'm not the biggest anime fan in the world, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was different from the other 2 movies.
Yeah.
And I thought, the third one was, while it isn't my favorite one out of the trilogy, I think they're making a 4th one too. But while this third one, it wasn't my favorite one, I really like the Creed movies. Yeah.
They did a nice job with them.
You could just talk to me about any movie and I'll just start speaking I think I'm just the biggest movie nerd out there, and so because I love to talk about these things, and yeah, I don't know, it just gets me going when I'm talking about the movies. Yeah.
Okay, top 3 of all time, and go.
Oh man, oh my God, that's so tough. I think
You asked for it.
yeah, no, you know what? I set myself up. I think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I
The
really
first
like that. It's the second one. I like the second one more than the first one.
Okay.
Even though I love Into the Spider-Verse, it's a top 10 movie for me personally. Into the
Okay.
Spider-Verse, the first one. It's a top 10 of all time, but for some reason I think the third one, the second one is just a notch better. I think the stakes are just higher. I don't know. Something about it. I like it more. Then I really like, I mean, it depends. It's interesting. I had this conversation on set for Lowlifes, actually, where we were talking about our favorite movies. And I remember I talked about 500 Days of Summer, which is a completely different type of film.
Mhm.
But that movie made me cry so much. It was so sad. The Perks of Being a Wallflower as well. Those movies just struck a chord for some reason, and then I don't usually cry during movies, but 500 Days of Summer, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and A Dog's Purpose. Those are the three movies that made me cry ever. But I think going back to top three, Across the Spider-Verse, 500 Days of Summer, and I'm torn because on one hand, I loved the experience of going to the movie theater and watching Infinity War and Endgame, but I also really liked watching 1917 when it came out. So it's just, don't even get me started on top three because now I'm just rambling about all the movies. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just those films. So yeah.
Yeah, so we've been
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about it. We've been talking about Infinity War and Endgame, and
Mhm.
JC
Yeah.
has not watched any of the Marvel except for Guardians 1 and 2
What?
and
I
3.
know. I know.
And Deadpool.
And we were like, it's like you got to be there in the theater when it came out and watch it. It was like the best two superhero films put together. And the story it
Exactly.
told was pretty amazing.
Josh, he gives me
You gotta be-
a shoebox of all Blu-rays of Marvel, and he puts them in order for me. So you got to watch this one, and you got to watch this one, and
Yeah.
I didn't have the
Dude,
time.
you gotta watch those.
I
You
know.
gotta, I mean, I get it. It's a bit of a chore because there's like, what is there, like 30 something Marvel movies now, and then there's the TV
Yeah.
shows as well. There's just so much to watch, but I
I think
think
Phase 4 had as much content as the first three.
I would have to
it
take a
did.
break off of
It
work.
really did. Phase 4 had so much. It was, I don't think I've watched all of them. I still have to get through Echo. I haven't started Echo yet, that new Disney Plus show.
Okay. Yeah, I've been a
I-
little
I-
out of the loop the last couple ones.
A little bit. Me too. Me too. I mean, I'm just trying to find the time to catch up because I do want to catch up. I am excited to catch up. But yeah, I at least my recommendation is at least watch phases 1 to 3, you know, up until Endgame. And
Yeah,
then
just
and
watch
then
the
you
first
find-
23 movies.
Yep, 23.
There you go. Just
You
watch the
won't
first
regret it.
Listen,
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's a few, I'm sure there's a few you could skip, like, you know, just yeah, there's a few you could probably skip, but for the most part, you know, just just watch the first 20 something movies and get the end game, and then trust me, you'll feel satisfied once
I'm
you're
gonna
once you're
take a
at the
week
end.
off work, never leave the couch, just like I
There
did
you
with
go.
Game of Thrones. I
Just sit
binged
down and
Game of
watch.
Thrones.
I never watched Game of Thrones. I never got around to it. Yeah,
Game of
I don't
Thrones
know.
is good.
I
I
mean,
think
to
I
be
saw the
fair,
pilot like 4 times and
yeah,
never got past it.
My wife likes
Yeah.
to watch all the Chef Ramsay, right? So I love the cooking shows, Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, Top Chef. So
Mhm.
trying to, I travel a lot for work, so it's kind of difficult. So
You know how many MCU movies you could blow out on a flight?
I know,
Hmm.
I know, but I keep watching Hunger Games or Friday.
Mm.
Now I'll watch Lowlifes on my flights.
Yes.
well, there you go. Rewatch Lowlifes as many times as you want.
Oh, watched
Yeah.
it last night again.
We loved it.
There you
Love
go. There you
Love
go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's what I think what makes Low Life so special is just because it's different from
Yeah.
other films. It uses those similar tropes, but it's different enough to the point where it makes it special.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, and it's a short film too. It's like an hour and a half, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it goes by pretty quickly.
Yeah, you got to change things up, and that's what that movie did, right? It
Mm.
just kind of it reversed things a little bit, So
Sure.
yeah, that was a great movie.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. And I think everybody else in the cast and crew would really appreciate that comment as well. All
absolutely.
the positive feedback has meant so much to us. You know,
And the acting was amazing. I mean, all you guys, the acting is what made that movie too, right?
Mhm.
It's just you
It
really
was amazing
cared
to
about
work
the
with. Yeah, no, it was amazing to work with such a talented group of people. I mean, I would look at, for example, Matt McCall's script, and it was filled with notes, like acting performance notes and stuff that he kind of little ticks and mannerisms he wanted to bring to his character. And I think everybody was just locked in and ready to deliver the best performance that they could for their characters, even if they didn't have the most amount of screen time. Everybody made the most of it, like Billy. Ben did great. Ben was, he's only in it for the first, like, what, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and he
Maybe.
crushed it.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, no, it was great. I remember. Mhm.
I was going to say, and I kind of
No,
feel
please
bad
go for it.
because half our episodes, I always make a comment. They're like, "Oh, what was such and such movie like?" And I'd be like, it's like, Tubi grade movies, and
Right.
I mean, I watch a ton of shit on there, but it's like, yeah, it's all low
Uh-huh.
quality, So when Joe
Right.
and eventually JC brought up about like, oh yeah, they got this new, exclusive movie on there, it was like, okay, I'll give it. And it was like, holy shit, they do actually make good movies in house.
Yeah, I mean, Tubi can produce some really good stuff. Absolutely.
Well, I said IMDb got you pegged as a standout up and comer in Hollywood, and so far with your resume, you look like you're headed to good things in your career. And we want to thank you for I know we had some technical difficulties to begin with tonight, but we just want to thank you for coming on, and we wish you the best coming, and also just coming on. We're called an excellent day for a podcast. So we cover horror and the horror genre, past and present. But this was a fun movie that we talked about. We see it on X a lot, formerly known as Twitter. But they're always talking about it. We always talk up good things about good movies, and this is another example of a good movie for 2024 to start off with for us to
Absolutely.
talk
So,
about.
so far, definitely a top 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, awesome. That's great. That's really wonderful to hear, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, it's thank you so much for all the kind words. Yeah, about that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you, Josh. We're gonna follow your career now.
Absolutely.
Great things are coming, my friend. So
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me too. Yeah, you guys are doing great stuff. Yeah, I mean, the horror movies, there's so many great ones out there, and there's films out there, like, for example, like Lowlifes, and a bunch of other films too that I think deserve to be talked about,
Absolutely.
in that limelight, for sure.
I mean, this is like our preference, but yeah, I mean, we watch all kinds of things.
I think we quote more
non-horror
movies than we do horror movies when we do the
Right.
podcast. So
we talk about horror while quoting everything else.
Right.
we wear
Yeah, we
it
started
on
talking about Cobra Kai and stuff. I don't know. That's like, yeah.
we're like 4 self-proclaimed horror nerds. I mean, we got horror tattoos everywhere. We enjoy it. We enjoy
That's
it.
awesome.
And
That's so
meanwhile, we're talking about John Hughes movies.
I was just watching Pretty in Pink the other day.
Isn't it the anniversary or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Breakfast Club was on, another classic, Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. It is a classic. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
you know your music history, Josh. So that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Well, Josh, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time tonight.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much for
really
having me.
appreciate it. Like I said, we're gonna follow your career. We wish you nothing but the best, and Lowlifes will forever be a staple in our conversations when we talk about horror, because it was a great movie and we enjoyed it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Seriously.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care, Josh. Be well.
Thank
Have
you
a good
too.
one, man.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you,
Josh.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Take care,
Thanks.
buddy.
You've been listening to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast, where we use the number 4 to save you time. Check out our entire catalog at excellentdayforapodcast.com. Also on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts. Have a question? Email us at excellentdayforapodcast@gmail.com.
But guys, I want to interact on social media.
Excellent.
See what we did there?
Follow us on Twitter at ExcellentDay4A. Otherwise, search for What an Excellent Day for a Podcast to get our Facebook page, our group page, Instagram, YouTube, and our newly launched Twitch channel. Come say hello, share them all. Thanks for listening.